Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to bring you one more video in the topic of HTML, cascaded style sheet in JavaScript. So today we will be discussing hypertext markup language, which HTML stands for hypertext markup language. Cascaded style sheet, CSS. Cascaded, the word cascaded is also used in database whenever you work on the database. Basically, you're manipulating more than one table. So all the tables that are joined together, you can update some records within multiple tables. You're saying cascaded update or cascaded delete or cascaded insert. So cascaded in the terms of HTML elements, every time you just work on a class, you can just categorize a group of them and you change the appearance of uh, one or more elements. And those elements are HTML, which are hypertext markup language. Basically, they're HTML tags. And then, so HTML is for static content of a web page, and CSS is for changing the visual aspect of those elements or appearance of it. And then JavaScript is to make it interactive. So the user UI interface is with JavaScript is more kind of friendly and more intuitive. You can just update some kind of elements dynamically, whether it's the appearance of it, whether it's the content of it, whether it's the text and the visual, anything. You can update some running like loops, opening windows, and doing a lot of things with UI interface. So today you will be learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I have written about altogether seven HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code in this project that I'm going to show you. In fact, I have done a lot for MyWebUniversity.com, but today I'm going to demonstration a math library of JavaScript as well as some of the code that I wrote, so you can see how we can do all that together. And the interface that I'm presenting you is to practice math or arithmetic. Arithmetic or math is basically the smallest version of algebra. The easiest or simplest form of algebra is arithmetic. And then math could cover a lot more than just arithmetic, but we're going to talk about addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, power function, and the square root function. So these six kind of small JavaScript and HTML and other ones, I'm going to demo each one of them for you. You will learn a lot of it. And I hope that those of you that have younger brothers or younger sisters that are going in elementary school, you could just use this one for their practice, so they can just learn addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, power function. So you go to my website at mywebuniversity.com, JavaScript and index.html. This interface comes to you. And obviously, this text is just for thumbnails that I put it, but you will get this interface, which I'm going to demo. And then if you want to practice addition, I'll present you another kind of interface for addition, similar for subtraction, similar for multiplication. So you will learn a lot from it. And then if you're a teacher for elementary schools, obviously you can use your student to just practice this at the lab or test it, and then they can enhance their skills on math or arithmetic in this case. So let's just get started with this one, and I'll just demo. The best thing is to learn from the demo, and let's get to the main page, which is this one that I just showed you. The text that I was showing you, HTML, cascaded style sheet, and JavaScript is not showing here because I'm just assuming that this is just for the interface that the students care about, and they are just going to use these tools to do it. So as you can see, for each one of them, when you point to it or just mouse over, that it gets highlighted with a green color saying that you want to practice subtraction, click here. You want to practice addition, click here. You want to practice multiplication, division, power function, square root, you get the idea, right? So the whole thing is that if you want to practice, for example, addition, when you click on it, it opens another screen, like I just showed you here, another page, and that page is the addition one right here. If I close this one, I'm on the main page. So every time you click on one of them, it just opens that one on the next blank page, which is a subtraction in this case. So if I close that one and click on multiplication, similarly happen for multiplication. And then similarly for division. So in order for you to just practice one of them, just click on it, open next to the index page, and then when you go to that page, then you just practice it. When you're done with it, you can close it so you don't get confused with all of them right there. Okay, these other ones are for my MyWebUniversity website. I have a lot of stuff for my MyWebUniversity YouTube channel, and then my MyWebUniversity YouTube channel in Farsi. So you're welcome to watch all of them. But the one that you're all practicing it from this page. So let's get started with the first one. If I go here and click on addition, the addition page comes up, and then you have this option. You have number one, which is num1 plus num2. So you're adding two numbers, whether or not 0, 0, it's going to return 0. 0 and 1, 1 and 0 is going to return 1. 1 and 1 returns 2. So now you have options to increase this number. If you just want number 1 to be increased, you click on this button. Every time you click, the number increased. So you don't have to do one digit addition. You can do as much as you want. You can grow as big as you want. You just keep pressing here. Like if you do this one, 50 plus 5, this is how you do it. And then you click on this result that you did this one. Originally, this page was saying result. So the result page gets updated every time you click on it. And then if you want to just reset the numbers, you just reset numbers, or you just refresh the window, it sets everything as refresh. So the refresh button is going to just give you the original topic saying that you're doing addition, and then the result, and then num1 plus num2 is what. So now if I just do this, and then let's say you can subtract here, whatever negative numbers you want, as long as you click on it, you will do that one. So minus 15 and 2, you can get 13. If you just want to increase this one with 5, obviously you get minus 10. But if you just want a positive number, you just change this one to 5 and let's say 10. 10 plus 5 is 15, and you get 15. So the output is always the numbers that you want. It shows here, and then this is the result. If you right click here, say refresh, notice that your screen is all empty with the default things. This is for addition, multiplication, division, power function, all of that. You can practice it like that. So a student could just practice it and say, okay, I want negative numbers. So minus 5 with minus 2, what is the result? And you can see it's minus 7. Because you owe $5 and then now you bought something else to $2 altogether, you have to spend minus $7 out of your pocket. So if you just say, well, I have $10, and then I spend 2 of it, how much I have is $8. And then the same thing, if you just increase this number or decrease it to a negative number, so the result should be 5, right? So a student, whether they're 4th grade or 5th grade, they can practice all of these numbers with 1 digit or 2 digit. If they want bigger numbers, they can practice bigger numbers, not a problem. You just keep clicking on the increase and then just grow to as high as you want. and then you just multiply and add them the numbers there. The nice thing about this interface, you can also right click here and click on the inspect. Because I wrote it on JavaScript, the whole thing is now you can see the elements. If you click on the console, let me make this screen a little bit smaller so you can see both of them. I think that's and one more. Yeah. So this is the result. Now, if I just decrement this number, saying that, okay, just make this one to 8 and then make this one to 22, let's say, that should be 20, right? I mean 30. So that's 30, and then you can see here the result is also showing here. If I just right click here and just go to inspect, and then you just click on console, and then that terminal window shows up, and you can see the result here. So if I just, you can also type in the number here. So let me just move this window up here and the console. Okay, somehow the window is too big for that one. So I'm gonna just say, like, if you say 10 plus 5, you get 15, right? I don't know if you can see that one. Let me just resize it a little bit more. Yeah, now you can see it, but it is small on the top. That's fine. So I'm gonna refresh this window as if I start fresh, and then I'm gonna say, let's say 2 plus 3. You can see it as 5, and right here 2 plus 3 is 5. If you just say 3 plus 3 is equal that 6. So any number you just add up here, 12 plus 3 is 15, and then you get 15 here, you get also 12 plus 13 is 15. And if you get decrement the number, let's say 12 minus 5 is 7, and you can just see the console is coming here. So this console access, it is going to allow you to say any arithmetic you can do. You can also do the math module, and then like, for example, math.pow of 2.5, and it's going to give you 32. And then you could say 5, 2 to the power of 5 is also 32. So you could do that kind of calculation as well, which I'm going to show you next, and you can practice it at the console or close the console. For students that they want to practice this one, they don't need to see the console. If they want to just do calculate with different numbers, yes, they can do right click here, click on the inspect, and then click on the console here, and then now you can write any information that you know in JavaScript here at the console here. For example, if you want to write something like alert, and then you say this is a test, and then you could just get an alert, this is a test. If you just say, for example, console.log, and you say hello world, whatever you do, that will just be presented here, hello world. And then if you want to do something on the HTML page, obviously you can update it, but that's going to be read only. Like, for example, document dot body dot text content. You can see here text content, and then you could say some text. You say hello world. Now notice this one is going to write hello world in there, but this is kind of like in the dark screen, so I have to change the background to white, and then after that one you can change it to write it to the text. So you could say document dot body dot style dot background color background, and then whatever color you want to change it to. Let's say you change it to pound FFF3F would be like 6AF equivalent, which is white, and you change it to white. Now the hello word that we did on the console, it is shown there. If I change this one to say document dot, let's say dot body and dot inner text, inner HTML, now we can write HTML code for it. So inner, let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you can see inner HTML, and you can see that it is allowing you to just see what you're typing here. So you could say a header one, and then inside here you say hello world, and then slash header one. You close it, and then you just do that one, and now hello world is showing at the top. But as soon as I refresh, it's because my app.html content is not going to be modified. That is running on the server side. This is all console on the browser side. So on the browser, I wrote this one, but now watch if I refresh this window, as soon as I refresh, the program comes in. That content is not going to be overwritten because this one is all actually on my server and the actual program is here. So if I just come here, I did the addition. So there's a file called my add.html, that one, and then there's another one with JS for the JavaScript. So the page is rendered with the combination of the two. If I say cat minus n, my add.html, and then do a laugh out loud cat minus a, animated. Now notice the lines of all the HTML file. It has the doc type, the HTML language, and the head section, and then the length, which is the styles sheet, and the name of the file is mystyles.css. This is for appearance of this page. Then my logo for MyWebUniversity, which is this header one. This is the image file that it gets there, and then after that one, a list of buttons. And that is each button has an ID number, and then when I get the JavaScript, get element by ID, this whatever is the ID name, I just have to read that one, and then based on the decrease button or increase button or reset, I have to take action. And the actions are all performed by the JavaScript, which is in this case is called my add.js. Notice this script tag. The script tag has a source attribute or argument. The source is saying the name of the JavaScript. Inside the JavaScript, it's going to basically renders the file. So the same kind of background for the page for contact about us, all of that one is on the bottom of this page. Now I will show you the other script, which is my add.javascript, this one. Notice that on line 1, it says, let count 1 is equal 0, count 2 is equal 0. So I'm doing all these constant declaration for num span, but then notice that when I do the num span, I get it get element by class name. And then whatever is the class name, I take the first index of it would be 0 from the array, and that is giving the value of the num1. And then the second element, which is index of 1, will get the span num2. And then the reset button, decrease button, all of that one, or just getting it by element by ID, because they have the ID as equal, the name of the ID or these. And then I read those ones. Now I have a kind of buttons to connect to hook to. For example, the reset button on click, whenever the event on click happens on the one of these buttons, then some action I have to take. And the action is the function call, the JavaScript function calls. For example, let's say an increase button 2, whenever on the button 2 is click for increase, this function is called, and then the counter number 2, which is num2, is going to be incremented by 1, and then the num span dot text content is going to get the value of what was set for that one. Similarly, for when you decrement it, it is decremented by 1, and then it's going to just reset the value of that one to count 2. And if you reset it to 0, obviously you start all fresh. And then whatever the value was set to, and then you have to do that one. So this is kind of like a value initialization, increment and decrement, and reset it. Then and there's a reset result button dot and on click. The on click event, when you click on the result to get the result, you basically add the two numbers, count 1 and count 2, and then by combining the count to count plus 1 and give it to the result, then you output the log console.log to the console, as well as you put it on the screen. And the screen, as you can see here, basically it is doing all the values that we just saw on the output. So if I go back here on this one, if you just say this is division, let me just close this one. I haven't, I thought that on this window, maybe I have this one, yeah. So I'm gonna close this one. Notice that every time you click on this one and you click on this one, the result will just get updated. 3 plus 5, result is 8. So you can see the output or shown here. I'm gonna make it bigger here because you can read it easily here. So I'm done with the first option of adding addition. And if you just have any question, you can basically decrement the numbers here and decrement the first number or decrement the second number or increase the number, whichever one you want. You just click on it, and then after that, when you click on the result, and the result will just give you the output. So if you say -4 with -1 should be -5, and you just get this one, and it shows you all over the result of it. So we're done with the addition, and I showed you the code here already. The code was basically there's a couple of files here. So ls minus l, my add.html, my add JavaScript, and then my styles.css. These are the 3 files. And the my styles.css, I'm gonna do cat -l my styles.css is when we say href is equal my styles reference on the link of HTML, and the rel is equal style sheet. Right away, it tells you that this style sheet for the appearance of the file should be updated. So you can see the body background is red, green, blue. This color is 25, 25, 25. It is basically creating this background, this color, and that one. And then and core and then other ones, the decoration, all of that one, hyperlink stuff, you could just see all of that one. This is for header 1, and then that my class. Each class is a block display, and we're just doing this ones, and then sometimes font size is a little bit bigger than one element, 1.2 EM. And when you do like 2 EM, it's double. 3 EM is triple. So that's how you know the size of it. And button.containers, all of those ones are defined here. So you basically, as you go, you could add elements into your HTML code, and then just put something on the CSS, how you want to change the color, the size, the font, the alignment, any positioning, all of that one, it is in your CSS. And then you put your JavaScript code to do the actual code. So if you just want to do this one also with animation, you can see that it is going to display the same code, but it is going to be a little bit more intuitive. It is not going to throw all of that information at once at your face. So you could just read and then look at the configuration and see how I did it, and then all of that parameter, you could do the same thing here. Okay, so I'm going to just go to the next one, which is the next program was so I'm going to be on the subtraction. Subtraction works the same way. Notice it has a title that you're subtracting num1 from num2, and then you can decrement the number or increment the number. It's your choice. So if you subtract a negative number from another negative number, so the sign result should be negative times negative. Minus negative number is going to be minus, right? So if you just make the number bigger, and this is like, let's say make this one in plus -3, so I should say -1, right? Or -5, because this number is also minus in this case. So minus and minus, you owe $3, and then you subtract $3 from it also. But if you just have the first number as a positive, and then the second number as negative, now you have $1. Actually, 3 minus -2. Yeah, so this is like a brace around it, and that's what I meant. So in this case, it's 3 minus -2. But if you just say 3 minus 2, this is what I said by 1. So this is only, you had $3, you spent $2 of it. So 3 minus 2, and then you left with $1. Okay, so if this was 5, then you should get 3. And that's how you get it. And then if you look at the shortcuts for the inspect there on the logs, every time you click on the console, the combination of the value that you did here is going to present you here as well. And then let me show you the actual code for the subtraction. So these codes, you can also get it on Visual Studio Code. I did it on Visual Studio Code on the client side, and I have it on the server side for you to be seeing it. Whenever you program on the client side, if you don't have a web server, you cannot just give it for free for other peoples to learn from it. So this is Visual Studio Code is also open source. Visual Studio Code is very good IDE. You have a lot of options here. For example, let's say I just show you some tips on Visual Studio Code when you want to code here. So let's say right here, I'm gonna just click on this, and then when you click on this, now you can see the file manager. You could create a file by clicking on this plus, or create a folder. So if I just want to create a file called this, and I just call it new.html. So now this interface comes in because I'm on a VI improved. So when I did this one on Visual Studio Code, there's a lot of extension that you can just install with it. So the extension, if you just click on the extension here and you just say live server, you can see the live server is coming here. I installed this live server. This is like almost like an interact. So it is going to just run your code dynamically. As soon as you run it, you are just getting the code, and then you could practice with it. And the live server, in addition, I did the prettier. The prettier code, this is going to make your code looks nicer, so that way format and everything. And then I also installed Vim, VI Improve. And the VI Improve is on Linux. I use it a lot. You can use any IDE. You can use Emacs, you can use Vim, you can use whatever, Notepad++ or anything. But if you have Visual Studio Code, don't waste your time with other stuff. It is very, very pretty, and it is have a lot of functionalities. And it is used for Python, C, C++, C Sharp, GCC, whatever code you are planning to do it, it has a JavaScript, HTML, CSS. So for example, the one that I just showed you here, if I just click on new here, notice here, and now I'm on inside here, I can write code inside this using Vim. So as an editorial syntax of Vim. So if I just say I for insert, and notice that I am in the insert mode, and then I could do bang here, and then notice that these are all options that I can click on bang React and just take a React kind of code. Notice it's gonna give you a default syntax of how to create a component, and then you give the component name and just go export that component and then use it. But at this time, I'm gonna do Vim, and I go escape, shift colon. Notice right here, the shift colon. So I'm gonna say 1 comma $sign D for delete. That's a set syntax. Now I'm back onto line number 1. So another way you could do it is to say I for insert, then bang, and now the bang itself is gonna give you HTML code. Notice as soon as you do the exclamation mark, because this dog type is coming with HTML, now you have the entire HTML. You don't need to have this meta tag. Those meta tags are for sometimes you could put your content, your description. Another one for it is good for some sort of compatibility or description, just having keywords, and other ones meta tags for search engine optimization, but you don't have to do that. Same thing with the UTF-8. They are by default okay. So if I just start here, I could start the code, and I could just add on a script tag. So if I just say a script here, and then notice that I just type in script and I press enter, and it gave me the entire tag, a script with the close. So I could write whatever I want to write inside here and say alert, and then say hello world. And you could just do that as like that. But if you just say, well, I don't want to do that one, I want to write a JavaScript code, and then you could just name that source here, and like we did, and just like I said, add. So let's do something like demo1.js, and because I already have written the demo1.js, I could just do this one and say, and the sources equal, and then name of the code is demo1.js. And then when I just do this, so the demo1.js should be here. If it is not there, you have to write it. So let me just see if I did the demo1.js already. Demo1.js. It should be right here. Demo1.js. So this is demo1.js to just demo something. So if I just go on the code of that new.html, I should have called it like demo1.js, like this one. Notice that I have already had that one, but let me show you the difference is not much on these two. So if I just demo1.js, and then look at the demo1 here, notice it's just the same thing. All it is just have some kind of ID tag and other stuff. So this is actually the code that I want to demo for you on this button. And then the demo1 was just called that we could just call it something else, new1.js. So let me just run this one first. I will show you. So right here, if I right click here, notice say open with live server. With live server, and it's going to open it on that page. So notice that it's 127 says hello, welcome to work, because I had in the JavaScript 2 of the alerts, and the alert is a blocking function. So as soon as you have the block, unless the user click on this button, it blocks the other statements following it. So now I click on it, then it goes and change the contents of each one element. It says hello world, and then it says hello Waidul Alfi. And then notice the background color, I changed it, the text that I changed it. All of that one was done inside this code of demo1.js. And this is what it was. It sent the information to the log as well as the alert that it gave you. And then set and create a variable called name and initially assign it to word. When you use a constant, the name cannot change. But when you use the let statement, that means that this variable, I could dynamically change the value. So name assigned to word here, and then Wahid al-Alfi here. So you could just assign it to anything. And then document.writeLine is going to write the statement, but notice the header tree, I have some style of CSS. This is called inline. I don't have to use the link with relative and then a link with relative as well as href saying that the other one is pointing to the my styles.css. So this is all inside here. So, and the same thing with document.writeLine, it writes those ones and then also change the background of the body, which is that color 25 that we did dark color. And then the next time it says get header one with element by ID, demo one, and it is setting the yellow, and then change the content of it. So all of the value is changed here. Then it says goodbye. If you look at the code here, I believe it was on this window. Yeah. If you click on the inspect, also on this one, it just says some of the information on the console, like live loaded and goodbye and hello and everything. And the way we said it as soon as you do it. So that is a demo of this one, but I'm going to also demo, let's say demo another one for you, which is index.html. So this index.html, if I click on this one, right click and say open with live server, it opens the same one here. But notice that inside the index.html code, it says that if the button is addition, so index.html basically is gonna just create 6 buttons. One for addition, one for subtraction, one for multiplication, one for division, and then each of these buttons are having some event. The event on click, whenever the button is clicked on the addition, then it's gonna call this open URL. The open URL is this inside this script. Here it is inline in this script. So it's going to just append MyWebUniversity.com JavaScript in front of this my add.html for addition, my sub.html for subtraction, and so on. So you can see that it is also logging that information here. And then the way you could look at it, because we are pointing to MyWebUniversity, even though you're locally connected, this interface is going to connect to, it's going to forward it to the other side. So as soon as I click on this one, it's going to just jump into JavaScript this, because my code, the function calls that is happening on that. Notice that even though I'm running it here locally on this port, if I click on subtraction, it just opens that one. That means that if I just want my code internally to work like this, then that means I have to come here and just say, okay, where I'm adding the code for this interface here. Let's see, one of them I have right here. So on this line 24, I could say escape YY and P. So I just copied that line, and then I could just say modify this line. To point to this IP address, localhost at that port. See that localhost at that port? So let's see if I pasted wrong. So I'm going to just do this and then say constant my website is equal, and then put this within the double quote. That would be the page, but I don't want to put index.html. So it would be that my add or my sub or something afterward. Now I have to comment this line. So and this is inside JavaScript, and JavaScript comment would work like this, saying this is the code, and then I go add with O, and then I say I for insert, and asterisk, and then so that line is comment, and this line is in place. Now I save it, escape, shift colon W, and then that is updated. Now if I just right click here and say open with server, this time when I click on addition, if I refresh this window, and now if I click on addition, it should open it on the same page. And then if I click on, notice that it is not just getting it to that one because of something else. So whenever something else happens, you have to right click here, say maybe there's a typo somewhere. So you inspect it, and then you go to console, and notice it says that Microsoft Edge is moving towards a new experience to allow users to choose browser without departing, but there's some errors, right? So let me move this zoom out of the way, and open URL is not defined. So let's see why it is saying my website has already been declared. Okay, so this declaration that was there, somehow it is understood that it was defined there, and caught is not defined. So I'm going to just go on this line, and instead of commenting this line with my website, I'm gonna just say I'm going to delete this one. I will always can add that line. Constant my website, and then that's why the problem was there was another extra quote here that did not cause the problem. So let me undo this one, escape, undo, undo, undo. So I'm going to just remove this one. Now this one is the URL that I want to do. The other one is okay. And just put this one now. Sorry. Okay, we saved it, and then we are going to just close this one and then say refresh, and then click on addition. Now it works. So there was a typo, that's why it was. And then you could just see that it works, and if you increment the number here, everything works, and then here everything works, and then just get the value for it. So, and now if I just go back to the index page, which is this one report, I click on subtraction, it works, and then I close this one, go on the multiplication, it works, and then go on the division works. So I'm going to show you, for example, the division here. I could show you on MyWebUniversity, but I just modified it here. I want to show you if this one works the same way without any kind of interface, because we modified that locally there. So increase now, and then you can see that it is just getting 1/3. But at this time, if I just say decrease this one, 1 divided by 0 is not allowed. So division by 0 is not allowed, because and then denominator number 2 cannot be equal 0. Any number divided by 0 is not allowed. So you can see that one. If you just change it, 4 divided by 1 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by, let's say, 8 should be, by 8 should be 0.5, and it is there. So you can see that functionality is all good. If I just do the same thing with multiplication, 3 times 3 is 9, and then 3 times 2 is 6, and so on. So you just increment the number as you want, and then you just click here and you get the result. And that's multiplication. And then the next thing is that you want to practice is, let me close this one. Okay, division we did, subtraction we did, power function. Power function is basically, you can just have a number to the power of something else. 2 to the power of 5 is going to be 32, and you can see that one. And if you do inspect it, it will give you the console.log also. On the console, to the power of 2, it's math.pow. So there's also 2 to the power of 5. This way also is going to give you 32. And then 2 to the power of 10 is going to be 1024, or math.pow 2 comma 10 also give you 1024. So if you just close this one, you could just practice it here. Like I just do this one, 1000, 2 to the power of 10 is 1024. And to the power of 16 is the highest number you can have, the number of ports in Linux and Unix. To the power of 10 was the first 1024 ports that are assigned onto the system. So if you just see 1024, meaning that to the power of 10. But to the power of 16 is because at one point the binary number is 0s and 1 or 2-digit, and then 16 is the register size. The machines were at 64-bit register, and now it's 64-bit, and then even 128-bit with zettabyte file system, ZFS stuff. So you know what I'm talking about. And then we are just looking at the power function. And then if you just look at square root also, and then your square root is the opposite of a number to the power of 2. So whatever is the number, if I just have the number 4, the number 4, the square root of it is 2. The number 9, and the square root of it is 3. And the number 16, the square root of it is 4. And 25, you got the idea. 25 is 5. So whatever is 5 times 5 is 25. The square root of it is there. 5 to the power of 2 is also 25. The square root of it is 5. And you can also right click here and then do some JavaScript code. For example, let me just show you the nice thing about this console. So you can say console.clear, and notice that all the functions that I did on the console.log, I get the output of it, but I can clear it, and I say, give me math.square root of 100. It should be 10, and then it gives you that. And then if you say 49, that's 7 times 7, and then 121, 11. So you could do that one. But at the same time, you could just say, for example, let's say for 100, it is 10. Now, if I say, call this function with math.pow, and then just take the first argument 2, the second argument, take the square root of it, of 100, that should also give me 1024. It's like saying the 2 to the power of 10, or math.pow of 2 comma 10. That's how you just calculate it. So this is like nested functions. You can do as many as you want, and it's get the round of it, get a random number generator. A lot of those things we can practice with it, but for your students, you can ask them to practice these things as they go. So here we have done it. You can also do a negative number. So you can see it's a negative number, square root is not applicable, right? So if I just change it to -4, it says not a number. And that is what that definition is. But if I just do it like a square root of, let's say 81, you keep pressing this one till you just reach to 81. 9 times 9 is 81. So I could just go 81, and then for 81, I should get 9. And similarly on the inspect, you could also say on the console, you could say a square root of, let me just do console, and then you could say math dot square root of 81, and it is just 9. But you can also say, give me that times to the power of 2, and that also give you 81. So the same thing, or that times math dot square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2, but then that is 18. However, if I just do the exponential function, that's 81, not multiplication. So if you want to just do that one with a power function, then you could also do that something like this and say comma, and then say math.pow of the. So math dot square root of that one is going to say return 9. The square root of the other one is 2. 9 to the power of 2 is 81, and then that's also going to return 81. So, and it depends on how you want to practice them. You're welcome to play around with it, either with this or with this. So, however you like to do it. And then MyWebUniversity.com, since I did this one at MyWebUniversity, you notice that if I just use the same function, you could get all the increment and decrement. This is just the math.pow. So let's get 5 to the power of 3, then it's 125. And to the power of 4 is 625. To the power of 5, it keeps growing. So the higher this number, the larger the number. You can see it. And then if you decrement it with minus 5 to the power of -2, then it's minus 0.04. And then the same thing if you just the decrement that the higher the number shrinks. You can see as you decrement it, and the number should keep shrinking to the lower number. And then one more time, it should be 64. Yeah, 64. Next time it's going to be 128. So you can see the idea to the power of that will. And this one is next one is should be twice as that one, 240, 256, 256, and then 512. So this is the number is much larger. Okay, so you get the idea, and then I'm going to show you the code also for those code here before we finish this off. And then let me just come up here. I will just do a demo on each of these codes. So all together, I have a my styles.css, which is the CSS file, and then cat -n my styles.css. All my codes are reading that one. So if I just say laugh out loud cat, then you can see this one. Every time I just do this one, it will give you a different interface. So if I just want to do clear command here, clear, and then ampersand, ampersand. Now, notice that I just up arrow, and then the code, the page, it just keep changing color, but I can see the content of it like that also. So the next one is, if I just show you cat -n index.html, the first code HTML, and then laugh out loud cat. That's good enough. So you can see, like, let me just show you the first 10 lines. So I'm going to say head -20, the first 20 lines. You can see the first 20 lines. There's a link somewhere here for the CSS file. Let's see, where's right here. So on line 5, I have link relative, a style sheet, and then href as my style. Since it's at the local directory of where my JavaScript and HTML code is, which is my var.html JavaScript directory, then it is just pointing to that current directory here. So it opens this CSS file to render all these elements, whether it's one element like a span, or like a header one, or maybe a class, which is a group of button, and then these classes dot dot button is inside this one, and then for IDs you have pound addition, pound subtraction, and so on inside this one. The syntax is, that's how it works. So if we look at this one, this is what is important on the line 5, and that is you're including the style sheet, and then definition of all the headers, and then the function calls that are being called on the click event handler for each of these addition, subtraction, multiplication with these IDs. So you can see here, if I do a grep -i, so for let's say addition on my style, my styles.css. Let's see, vim my styles.css. So the IDs are here, and you can see header 1. So all the IDs are with the pound, and then the name. All the class, my class is dot 1. Class is equal my class. When you do it on the CSS, you put a dot my class, and then you write the code. The same thing with the ID with the pound symbol. So that's how you look at it, and then buttons and all of that. And then num label 1, num label 2, and all of that. And then I believe the IDs were just basically inside here, all those buttons also for it. And then the one with the addition, if I look at the addition, vim my add.html, then notice that the IDs are here decrease. So we had the pound.decrease 1, pound is set button 1, and so on. All of those ones are the IDs that are there. And then the code that we are doing on the JS script, .js. So if I just do a cat -n my add.js, and then laugh out loud cat, and then you can see here each of these lines. When we create the element, for example, for the span, I had to do get element by class name. There's the class name is my class, and so num1 is span and num2 is span. Then I assign those ones, then I manipulate those two whenever I increment 1 and 2. Similarly for decrease and other ones that are get by element by ID, and that's how you define the ID descriptors. Then you have event handler, and you just work on them. And the formulas to do the calculation of these functions. So one more line. Let me just clear the screen here. and say, I'm going to show you the division also. The division is important because the syntax is a little bit different. My dev.js. So the dev.html actually first, and then laugh out loud cat minus n, not minus n, minus a. So you can see the code for a dev element. It has started with the doc type and then HTML. So map division function and then the cascaded style sheet file is included. And then comes on the body, the MyWebUniversity header page is going to be included. And then now I have header one as h1 num1 num2, division of two numbers, and then later on I modify that value with JavaScript code to just display different value as soon as the calculation is completed. And then right here you have value 0 for num1 and value 2 also is set to 0 initially. But then inside your JavaScript code, my dev.js is going to just increment it and decrement it. So this one is basically the bottom one is just my footer of HTML page. So that's nothing to be worried about. You can include yours. And then this one I want to do instead of HTML, JS. The JS file is, you can see that I have the counter assigned to initially to zeros. Then I go get the num1 span and num2 span. And then this is the arrays sub0, sub1. Sub0 is the pointing to num1, array of index 1 is pointing to num2. And then once I get all of those elements by ID name, then I can increment or decrement based on these functions. So every time you click on the button increase button 1, the button 1 number will increase. Every time you click on button 2, it will increase or decrease depending on which button you click on. And then the result here, notice the result button is a little bit different because we have to also have a constraint or a kind of exception when the count or denominator is equal 0, then you say division by 0 is not allowed. So there's a fs statement here. It does a control checking on it. If the value by the user on the denominator was equal 0, then it's going to just change all those attributes to say in red color, say you're not allowed to put a denominator as 0, and then division by 0 is not allowed, as we saw it on the screen. And then otherwise, if it is all else, then everything is going to be looking green. And that's why the button here, and for the result button dot style, you change it back to green. Initially, if it was division by 0, you set it to red, but if it's other than 0, then you always set it to green. And I demonstrated that one. And let me just show you one more time. For that one, I'm going to just say my, so here you could simply go to index.html page and then do it, or just type in here my dev.html and then just come up with it. But because I have opened a lot of them, my cursor is moving faster than what I want to do it or slower than what I want to do. So it is not syncing with me. I'm going to just do this one. My dev.html, now I have this one. Notice that if I just do this one to a bigger number or any number, and then this one to a 0, then the result says that division by 0 is not allowed. So you can see all the information, and then this is all good with that information. However, if I change that one, 5 divided by 1, it is going to go green. 5 divided by 2, it's 2.5, and it's all green. As soon as I just change that one to any other number than 0, it is going to just work. so it gets the value. But if I change it to 0, and then doesn't matter what the numerator is, the denominator cannot be equal 0, and then you get that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I'm going to end the video here. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, MyWebUniversity.com, I have two channels. One is My Web University in English, which is all these cool stuff that I have. The entire Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. A lot of people watch that one. A lot of people enjoy it under the populars. I have Red Hat, Rocky Linux, and PDF, Solaris operating system, and then Linux advanced stuff. A lot of stuff, Bash scripting, C, C++, Python, you name it, there's a lot of code. It's including a lot of the page that I have this online book that you can practice the entire Linux online and there. So for example, if you go to advanced on chapter 4, and then you say, well, I want to practice, what can I learn? Let's say you don't know about a process, a stream tree command. You click here, it says, what is PS3? Display a tree of processes. Example, PS3, dollar sign means show me the current process that is running on the system. And then that is not the current process. That is a banner or like a logo or something that is advertisement from Google, but this is the process stream, shell PS3. So if you click on this one, process stream 1, then you could just see that the process stream 1, this is system D, and that was replaced with system D, and system D is having forked all these other child processes. This is the tree in there. And if you say, well, that's great, can I just do the same thing here? And so, yeah, I could, when you're on Linux and you memorize something, you want to practice it here. Let me just clear the screen here and say, PS3, dollar sign is going to give you the same thing that we got there. PS3 process ID 1, you can see here, if you just do this one with laugh out loud, cut -A for animation, the process is system D. It is going to show you what other process got forked, and then all of those processes are going to be displayed one by one as you go. And if you just didn't do animation, you just did this one, is fast. Every time you run it, it's just giving you the output there. And similarly, like tree command, if you just do that one, if you do ls-l/user, all of that one, and if you say ls-l r recursively user, and then do laugh out loud tab, and then you can see that the code is right there. And there's a lot you could practice have fun, and you do it. So if I just want to say on inside here, show me all the JS script here, I could say clear screen and say cut -n star.js, and then word count -l, that's 406 of them. Or you could say while I could say, for example, let's just write that find command, find dot minus name star dot js minus type as f. So it is all those files, and then I could say also xargs, and then cat -n the file names. So as you can see here, for every file, I just did the display of the file. So I could say laugh out loud cat to just have it on the code. Notice that as many as there are, I just checked each one of them by the line numbers and do that one. And if you just say, this is cool, but can I just do something like while read var, I could say while read var and say do, and then say echo working on dollar sign var now, and then and then you say stat $ var, and then say sleep 2 seconds, and then cat minus n $ var, and then say cat minus n $ laugh out loud cat, and then done. And then you could also, after each file, you could say run the command, because we did the date. So 2 seconds later, it's gonna show the time. And then whatever these commands are there, I could have just put a date before that one, but you don't have to worry about that. So right now, I'm showing you a few of these things. Notice 2 seconds later, it does a stat, and then it shows you the content of that file. So you could just see how flexible Linux and Unix is when you're coding and you're just enjoying your day and have some fun. Like there, I don't know if this is fun for you or not, but it is fun for me. A programmer, sometimes we say programmers, we have no life, but this is our life, basically. Yeah, the more you code, the more you enjoy it, the more fun it is for you, and then do this one. And then sometimes you could do thousands of different types of metrics, and then with these codes, and then graphics, animation, and everything, with all these tools that is available for you. Okay, and then I'm going to end the video here actually, with this last one showing up. However, it shows up there. You're welcome to just subscribe to our channel, and then God bless you all. Take care. Bye bye now.